Welcome to Powered by Her, exploring the stories of how area women power their business. Hear from the growing network of female entrepreneurs of the Upper Cumberland with your host, Tiffany Anton, director at the Biz Foundry. Powered by Her starts now.
Hello, you're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and today we have Amanda Kail and Cassidy Phillips. I always have a hard time. With Foxtrot Branding. They're a fairly new company here in Cookeville, Tennessee, and they do kind of all things marketing, branding, I guess not all things marketing, but branding, helping companies kind of create who they are meant to be, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me kind of a 10-second, two sentence, what in your words Foxtrot is.
Yeah, so Foxtrot Branding, we are a branding studio. We work with a lot of creative businesses, and we do brand identity design, website design, and brand photography.
Okay. And what made you, so you guys are fairly young, and how old are you, Amanda?
I'm 22. I'll be 23 this month.
23 this month.
Yes.
And Cassidy?
Yeah, I'm 22 and I'll be 23 in just a couple months.
Okay, so you guys are freshly out of college. And you said, we're going to start a business.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to start a business, period? Not this specific business. Just...
I think for me, I always wanted to freelance or do some kind of business endeavor just on my own because I don't know, I just always had a passion for
So kind of what you wanted to do, not necessarily, you had a passion for following your own dreams and not somebody else's?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel like I have a lot of different talents and I can serve people in different ways with those. And I always felt confident kind of to just strike out on my own. My dad has his own business, so there's definitely an entrepreneurial spirit in my family, and I've always been encouraged in that way. So
well, and you grew up in that. So how old were you when he started that company?
I was probably... Like he had a business in Arizona for a while, then we moved to Tennessee when I was 9, and he started the business probably when I was like 11. So I've been in a small business for a very, very long time.
And you've kind of seen the roller coaster of the ups and downs. It was not this sugar-coated, wonderful, amazing, like just skyrocketed business. It was, definitely some ups and downs in that.
Yeah, I always say never, but I will probably never own a restaurant just because I've seen how difficult that can be, and definitely, the ups and downs. But I've also seen the joy of getting to own your own business and have your own hours and do things the way that you want to do. So I've always had that mindset of, if this is something I want to do, I'm going to go for it. And I've been very encouraged by my family and blessed to have that support of people who just say, go for it if you want to do it.
And Amanda, what made you decide, I'm going to do a business?
Well, I think our upbringing was kind of similar in the way that we both had a lot of passions for, we both had blogs when we were younger and websites. And so she wanted to pursue more of like the marketing side initially before Cassidy and I started working together. I wanted to pursue more graphic design, and I just had this calling like before I was going to graduate college last December. I just felt like I wanted to do my own thing. I wasn't ready to maybe start working at some other firm, and I just felt like this is something I could do. I'm going to try it. Might as well do it now when I don't have like a family to support or bigger things like that are kind of scary. So I just decided to start my business, and then I met Cassidy, and we decided that why don't we join both of our pursuits together so we can offer so much more to our clients.
How long were you doing a business by yourself before you met Cassidy or decided?
Like not even a full month, I think. Okay. I was like just getting like an Instagram account up and running and building my portfolio site.
Was it a lot less scary then to say, there's someone else here to share this kind of the weight of the scariness of this?
Yeah, it's a lot less scary. She knows way more things about starting a business than I do just because she's had that previous experience with her family's business. So I feel like I learned so much, and together we were able to do such a better job, I guess, at starting a business because I didn't know anything when I started.
Right. I think it goes both ways, though, to yes, it was relieving to have another person in this with you, but also you're starting like a business. This is your baby, and you're starting it with another person, and it's going to be 50-50. And so a lot of people said, wow, you guys met and you just decided to start a business together. And we were like, yeah. I think we just had a very strong sense of like, this is what we want to do, and we feel good about working together. We feel like our personalities blend really well. And in college, I was doing social media management, and I had explored a lot of different creative avenues of content creation and doing some writing. I'm an English major, and I decided that I wanted to do website design and photography. And as soon as I had kind of started pursuing that, that's when I met Amanda, and she was like, hey, let's add on graphic design to those services and offer them to businesses as kind of like our original thought was a one-stop shop for businesses. So, hey, get your logo and your photos and your website all in one place.
So you guys were not friends beforehand. You met with the thought of creating this business, correct?
Yeah. I knew of Cassidy because my mom actually worked at her dad's restaurant for a little while. Okay. So I knew of her, but we had not actually met or hung out. And I saw her posting photography on her Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to contact her to do my photography. And we just got to talking. She was asking questions about my business, and I just realized, like, why don't we do this together?
And I think sometimes people have said that starting a business with a friend, we've been lifelong friends since we were 4. That can be a little bit more difficult because then you put your personal relationship and it seems as though you guys have grown to become friends and you're involved in each other's lives. But you still have that business aspect first. And that's kind of the forefront of things between the two of you. Mm-hmm. So what personal strengths have you had that have led you to be successful? So your business is almost a year old. It'll be a year on September 1st. Mm-hmm. And you're running a successful business. You said.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I mean, some days are harder, but it is successful
and
so far.
I think as 22-year-olds, that's kind of a hard thing to say too, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more than somebody who's 40 to say, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm making my dreams come true at 22 years old. I'm following my dreams and I'm successful in that. So what has led you in the last year? What strengths have you had that have led you to be able to have a successful business?
I think a big part of it is positive mindset and just keep trying. Like, I feel like every single day we change our mind about something or we learn something new and we realize we messed up, or like we're just constantly learning, but we're also constantly like just trusting that we're doing the right things and we're working towards our goal. And so I think it has to do with our personalities being able to like stick with it because it is hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting you said working towards our goal. How many times in the last year do you think that goal, quote unquote, has changed? That you came in, I met you fairly soon after you started the business, and I think you had this goal of who your customers were, and it was very defined, and it was like, this is it. And I've seen you guys adjust what you're doing over the last year. So how many times has that goal changed?
Like every day.
I think the goal has remained the same, to start a successful business, but I think our vision, for how that happens changes almost every day. Mm-hmm. I think one of our strengths together is that we both are very adamant about constant improvement, and we look at our projects and our clients and say, how did that go? How can we make this better next time? We're definitely open to change because we always want to be improving ourselves. So with that comes a lot of change. With every project, it always seems like we're trying something different, or with pricing. And I think the more business owners we talk to, we find that's true among everyone. Sometimes we feel like crazy people because we're always, being like, well, what if we tried this, or what if we tried that? But I think that is the key to a successful business, because if you're just set in your ways, if we were still doing what we were, like 10 months ago, that would not be working for us.
You wouldn't be able to say you have a successful business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. We have Foxtrot Branding in the studio today, Cassidy and Amanda, and we're going to talk a little bit about what support that you've had over the past year that has led you to maybe support you in some of these decisions you made, so personally and professionally. So first, personally, Amanda, who have you been able to turn to personally to kind of keep you uplifted? Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like everyone says this, but friends and family are always very supportive. I'm lucky that my parents really understand what I'm pursuing, and they accept that, and they really they love sharing with their friends and family too about what I do. So I'm really grateful for that. And then I've got a lot of friends who are also very supportive, and they've got talents too, or if I have questions about certain things, I do have friends I can go to and ask them about. Like, I've got friends who have some law background, and I can ask law questions when we have some contract issues or something we need to talk about or learn about. So it's nice having all these different people with different talents around us.
Have you felt like it's been helpful for you to stay in Cookeville? Both of you grew up here? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so to stay in a town where you're really connected, you have those deep, you've known these people for years and years, and now they do have marketing backgrounds, or they have law backgrounds, or whatnot. That is just, it's kind of the nice small town feel to things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think community is super important because we've just had so many people who, because they know us already, they're able to trust us even sooner, which is, I'm sure it's really hard being a 22-year-old business owner to get people to trust you because you're just so new and you don't know everything. So I think it is really nice having people who already know, love, and trust us, and they're willing to give us their business. And we're really grateful for that because some of the connections we've made in our community and at the Biz Foundry, working with other women there, those have been a lot of our clients. So that's really helped us get like up on our feet.
Yeah, and the majority of our clients have been through personal connections, even though we want to move towards working with more remote people and different kinds of businesses that are outside of Cookeville. So many of the businesses that we have worked with have been because someone knew my dad, or we had a friend of someone, or I knew someone like a long time ago. And it's really good to be in a community that you have grown up in, like you said, just because it would be so hard to start a business somewhere where you don't know anyone. And I think something we've learned is your connections are everything in business. No matter what kind of business you have to have strong connections.
So one thing that an issue that this area faces is the young people want to get their college degrees and get out of here. So what led you to say, okay, now I'm going to start this business here instead of leave?
I think for me, I got married 3 years ago. I've been married 3 years. And so both me and my husband really love our families. And I think we both, when we were younger, had the mentality of, we just want to get out of this town, like we want to go do something else, go to a bigger city. But the longer we've been here, and I think the older we get, the more we just enjoy the people around us. And I think there are lots of opportunities here. And I think that no matter where you are, you can always make the best of it. And I think that Cookeville is a really special place that supports the arts. I mean, for what we're doing and how young we are, everyone has seriously been so supportive. I don't think we've rarely ever gotten negative feedback, and that is just really a special thing. I don't think all communities are like that.
And I think we're lucky too because as we've grown up through Cookeville has grown up and changed a lot too. Mm-hmm. It's grown a lot. There's a lot more opportunities for people our age, a lot more business opportunities, and like the Biz Foundry is a fairly new thing. So I think it's nice that we were here at a good time for this town.
Yeah, the turning point. So back to the professional support that you've received. Who do you think, is there a mentor that you've had that kind of has helped you professionally in your business aspect of things that you thought, gosh, we couldn't be where we're at today without this person? Or
I think the people that we've met at the Biz Foundry absolutely have been huge for us. Kelly Fitzpatrick has been such a gracious help of just being like, hey, here's my wealth of knowledge. Let me sit down and just talk to you about what's going on. And, how can I help you? Even though she's not even in the same industry as us, she's really helpful. Jeff has helped us a lot just with a lot of our back end stuff, like our accounting and looking at our business through a different mindset, because he always says that people's biggest problem when they're entrepreneurs is that they look at themselves as an employee, and you're not an employee. You are the owner of the business. So you have to start looking at your income differently. You are, you're a business owner. So it's different. And I think our mindset, even in the past couple of months, has really changed and been shaped by a lot of the people at the Biz Foundry, and just having people around you that you can bounce ideas off of. And it's a really cool community there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Any mentors that you feel, Amanda, that you've anything to add to?
Yeah, I feel like everyone who walks through the doors of Biz Foundry has been our mentor, because we're always, anytime someone walks in, they'll look over our shoulder and see what we're working on, and then we'll have a question about something and they'll give their advice. So there's so many different mentors, but I agree with Cassidy. I think Kelly Fitzpatrick was one of our bigger ones because she was actually one of our first clients. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting because she's been a client / also kind of a mentor sometimes. So we've learned so much from her.
I think that's part of that magical component of Cookeville, where you can have somebody that, they want to use your services, but yet they also want to help you as well. And they want to, they know they can respect your strengths and know that maybe those aren't their strengths, but offer you some of theirs as well. So, what advice would you have for someone who wants to start a business?
Just do it. just do your best and do a lot of research. I have several of like my former classmates have asked me questions about how I started or how I learned how to do this. And my answer is always just like, Google it. Like you can learn everything on Google, how to learn a business, just like do a lot of self-educating and then do a lot of asking people who know more than you do and learn from them.
To know what you don't know is a huge skill.
For anyone starting a business, it's going to be a mental battle every single day. Even people talk about, like the hustle of starting a business, it's going to be a lot of work. And yes, it is a lot of work, but even more than that for me, I think it's been mentally a struggle because you'll be like on top of the world one day and then the next day you're like, I cannot do this anymore. So I think you have to be prepared to mentally like take on the ups and downs and be able to keep yourself grounded. You've got to really remember why you're doing this and that it's going to be okay. Even if this business doesn't work out, your life is going to go on, and you've got to keep that healthy mindset throughout the whole process of starting it. And I think there's like sayings, that starting a business is not for, the weak of heart or, whatever. And it's true because you have to be really mentally strong and prepared to do this. And it's not going to be immediate. And I think especially for young people like our age, there's a culture of, just expectation immediately. Things are going to work out. And that's not how it's going to be. Starting a business is going to take years. I mean, we are almost to our first year, and it's hard to be, patient and wait through that. But it'll be worth it if you do.
I've heard some people talk about their businesses as a stage of life. So you're really in infancy still. And so, you're about to celebrate your first birthday, which is great, but you're going into the toddler years.
Yeah.
So, it's tough. And so thinking it's just going to be an overnight success is not necessarily healthy to keep in mind.
Right. And there's such a culture right now of, you have the internet, you can start a business. And while I do think that's great and you can, I think a lot of people don't realize what it's actually going to be like. And a lot of people start businesses and then they just kind of give up, after the first couple months or even like the first year. You're really going to have to put in the time and have that mindset.
Yeah. So back to what your business actually does. So we have a lot of listeners who own their own business or are thinking about starting their own business. And I think a lot of times people think, well, I can do my own branding and I can do my own, I can figure this out on my own. So what do you offer? What skills do you guys have that maybe Google doesn't? You can't just search on a Google search bar.
Well, if you're wanting to DIY your own branding, some people do that, but we really push the need for professional branding because it's more than just your visual aspect. It's more than just your logo. Like when we help clients through the branding process, we're helping them nail down what their values are, what's their mission, who are they reaching, how can we portray that through visuals to attract the right clients. So some business owners may not take the time to nail all those things out, or they may need some guidance. So that's kind of what we're here to do. So we help guide that direction for their business and help them put it together in a visual way.
Why do you think that that's important?
Because if you don't show your audience clearly who you are, then how are they going to know who you are, and how will they know if they want to give you their business or their money? You need to make it very, very clear from the start what they can expect from you, what your values are, what you stand for.
Well, I'm sure having, DIY your branding takes that professional level down a little bit. And so how you want to get into this company, how am I going to want to buy a product for this company that has bad product pictures? Or how am I going to trust a service industry with a bad headshot or whatnot?
Or if it's inconsistent. I mean, that's the biggest thing we push for is consistency, because even if we see a lot of people maybe that do have a good logo, but they're using a different logo on their Facebook and their Google and their Instagram, and it all looks different. And that breaks trust with your customers faster than anything, because the reality is we are in such a media overload all the time. People have to be able to recognize you instantly so that they can see you and be like, oh, yep, that's that one brand, and they have the same logo everywhere. And it's not something that a lot of people think consciously, but subconsciously people notice, when you have the same colors and the same fonts and the same logos across the board, whether it's print materials or digital materials. And that's one of the biggest things that we push with people is get your branding done professionally, because even if you could create your own logo, it's so important to have all those files that you need. And we provide all the fonts and the colors and everything you need to be consistent all the time. a lot of people DIY their branding, but they don't finish the job. And so you'll just be left with random files. Where did I put that logo again? Or where are those photos? So one of the biggest things we do is just we finish it for you. A lot of people, even with our own business, we find it sometimes hard to finish the job and have everything you need. But once we give people that file, they're like, okay, everything I need is here. I have all the tools I need to be consistent and to have a strong brand, across all my platforms.
Well, the other thing that I think is so important is that it makes growing your business super seamless. So if you have all the files, everything you need, and then I have, a team member that comes on, or I have 3 team members that come on, it's all there, and I can say, this is how you use this. These are where the fonts go. This is where I don't have to, each time I hire a new team member, say, oh no, that's not the font we use. That's an old font that was in an old drive that, we've changed that. And, I think that complete package it can save you a lot of, time in the future by just having it all organized when you are ready to scale your business and have more team members.
Yep, exactly.
So, tell me a little bit about websites. So you do some website design. I have gone back and forth. Personally, I don't like websites. I'm a Facebook user. I'm, in my mid to late 30s. And I'm kind of, for so long, I'm like, websites. Who goes to websites? So tell me sell me on the importance of websites. Listen, I know they're important now, but it's been an internal struggle for me.
So while social media is incredibly important and it needs to serve, as a spot for people to locate all the information they need to know about you, you don't get to control that experience on social media. Instagram decides who sees your stuff. Facebook decides, those, you don't have control over those algorithms.
Even in terms of the size of it, the picture is this size and that's it.
Exactly.
Character counts and stuff like that.
While it's a great resource, you need to be utilizing. Your website is the one place where you can control people's experience. You can control the first thing they see when they get on your website. You can control like the pop-ups they see. You can guide them through the website in the way that you want to. So for example, you could say, hey, here's a picture of us. Here's what we do. You can learn more about us. People go to that page and then maybe they want to see some of your work. And then logically after they see your work, maybe they want to contact you. So you can guide that whole process and have that control. Whereas on other platforms, you don't get to do that. And that's why a website is so important.
How do you feel, personally working with a business and kind of giving them that voice, giving them that experience that they're offering to the customer? I mean, you are really invested into what they're putting out there. So how do you deal with that? That's kind of a lot of pressure.
It is. But I think it's part of what makes us special and part of why I'm so passionate about what we do. Yes, I love creating beautiful designs, but I love getting to know all the businesses that we work with, their stories and why they do it, and how they want to portray themselves to the world. I find so much satisfaction in hearing someone and what they want to put out there, and then them being like, oh my gosh, yes, you totally nailed it with this website. That's exactly how we want it to look. That's how we wanted to say that. And so I find a lot of joy in just getting to tell people's story in the way they want to and be that person who can, build it into the website and show it so they can show all their people and be like, we're so proud of this. This really represents who we are. I
feel like you almost get to be almost like foster parents to the companies a little bit and really kind of, okay, we're going to help foster this, your products, your experience, your website, your brand, your identity. And then we're going to give it to you and you get to watch all these businesses kind of flourish based on the things that you've done and the website you've created of how they can expand their business aspects. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty neat aspect of entrepreneurship, that you get to impact all these other entrepreneurs and all these other businesses that if you just kind of did your own product or something, you wouldn't be able to impact so many people.
Yeah, and as someone interested in small business, like I can't stay out of the small business conversation. It's cool to get to be part of so many different ones and kind of there's always something new going on. Like we're working with a new nonprofit, or now we get to work on a farm or something. It's just we get to experience a lot of different stories and a lot of different businesses.
I think that's so important with entrepreneurship, that there's so many aspects of it that you can't get bored. You know, you kind of, it's a new thing every day. You walk in and it's like, okay, what are we doing today? And you have new clients here and there and all that stuff. So, we're going to talk about the future in just a second. So you're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. This is Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and we have Amanda and Cassidy from Foxtrot Branding today. And what's the future? So we're almost a year old. We're entering the toddler phases. So where are you going? What are you doing? What's next for you guys?
So I think short-term plan within the next year or so, we just want to make sure that our business is definitely like we're growing a little bit. We're pursuing some higher level clients, higher paid projects, and just have more consistency in our flow of clients. That's our short-term goal.
Having some cash flow.
We've got cash flow now, but we'd like more cash flow, obviously.
Sure
As a business owner, you want to continue to grow not only your own income, but also the business's income, so that when our business makes more money, we can do more with our business and make more of an impact. And so that's our short term.
Yeah, and I think we're even just recently getting to the point where it's like, okay, we can do this. You know, we're having a stable flow of clients, and so I think we are in that almost survival mode still in some ways. But it's really cool to get to start reaping the rewards of a lot of people we've talked to and things like that, and just starting to build our clientele. So yeah, for me, definitely wanting to just get more financially stable and help the business grow to be more stable as well.
Do you see yourself offering other services to people? Is there any talk of things that you might want to do service-wise?
Yeah, I think long-term we may expand our services slightly. I'm not sure if we know exactly what those new services would be, but I think that it would require maybe adding on a few more team members to our business. So that would probably be like 5-year plan. But yeah, I would like to get to the point where we can just expand our services, have a larger team, and be able to do more for our clients.
Yeah, and we talk about wanting to just be more creative directors eventually. I mean, I think that's every entrepreneur's goal, to get to the point where you can step back from the day-to-day, you know, and just kind of focus on the things that you really want to be doing. And of course, that's really long-term, but that is our goal eventually, to be able to definitely expand, maybe start contracting out some different services, like you're saying. And yeah, definitely just be more of a director role eventually.
How will you know if you've made it or when you make it?
I don't know.
When we feel, well, I was going to say when we feel comfortable, but I don't know if you're ever going to feel comfortable running a business. I think it's always going to be something new. I mean, because even when you grow, you have growing pains. And so
from talking to other business owners, I'm not sure if many people ever feel like they've made it, because when you are in the day-to-day of it, it is very hard to see outside of it. It's like you're asking us, do you feel like you're a successful business? And we're like, yeah, I think we are. You know, even though, yes, we are from an outsider's perspective, like, yeah, this is
You're
great.
In the black, not the red. That's, I mean, I guess that's the definition of success.
I think it's, for me, this sounds cheesy, but I do already feel like I've made it, just because I am getting to do what I love and what I'm passionate about, and I get to, you know, own my own business and set my own hours, and I feel fulfilled by the work I'm creating, and we are making, you know, enough money to survive, and that's incredible. So I do try to keep the mindset of, no matter what happens, like, I am successful now.
Yeah, I think that's great, because, like, I guess when I think about my future ideal life, you know, the things I would list off are actually kind of similar to what I already have. It's just there's a little bit of the, you know, running a business stress mixed in, but I guess it's all just, you know, an up and downhill battle all constantly. But I do feel like Cassie was saying, she feels really fulfilled. I feel that way too. I feel like I have the time and freedom to travel when I want to, and I can work from anywhere. And those are things that I've always wanted but didn't know how to achieve. So it's really awesome that we get to have that now and run our business and both be creative in the ways that we want to and travel when we want to and support ourselves and our families. Being so young and in our first year of business, I am really proud that we are able to achieve that so quickly. And I think from here, it's just hopefully we just keep, you know, improving that.
So how can people contact you? What is the way to find you guys if they want your services or want to check out your product, or your services, products, pictures? How can they find you?
Well, you should definitely go to our website, because we put a lot of work into that. That's foxtrotbranding.com.
Says Cassidy, the website girl.
Yes.
We have...
I'm sorry, foxtrotbranding.com. Is that what we said?
Yeah, foxtrotbranding.com. Okay. And we have all of our services on there in our portfolio that you can check out. We also have an online shop that we're starting to reach out to some different kinds of audiences. We have some pre-made brand kits and logos that are really, really cute. And then we also have a blog on there as well where we give advice for people and it kind of break down what we do and why it's important. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Foxtrot Branding.
Foxtrot Branding. And Amanda Kail, Cassidy Phillips. Any last minute advice, anything you want to tell anybody before we end today?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too on the spot.
I'm just really thankful to get to do what we're doing. And I think not a lot of people get to do this at a young age. So I feel very thankful.
Yeah. I when I think about, I was going to ask you in 10 years, so you'd be 32 at the time. What do you see yourself? And it's like, gosh, at 32, I was, still a stay-at-home mom. And so, and you could be 10 years into a business by then. So you could have sold this off and started something new by then. Who knows? So, you have a lot of great groundwork that you've laid to do this so early in life. And then, the sky's the limit for you guys. So thank you for coming in today. You're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and we had Amanda and Cassidy with Foxtrot Branding. Thank you, girls, for coming in.